going to do a video specifically focused on the band Shearwater. I'd shown a couple of Shearwater records in two different videos recently, and I was surprised at how many people commented that they really didn't know the band. They've been such an important part of my musical diet for quite a while now, at least 5 years now. And I guess I've forgotten that they might not be a household name to everybody else. The record that I showed most recently was Winged Life, which is, I believe it's their third album. This band started as a collaboration between Jonathan Myberg and Will Sheff of the band Okkervil River. And this record is, you can tell that this is very definitely a shared record. There's songwriting duties and vocal duties shared by those two guys. I'm sure they both contributed equally as much to that record. I get the impression that their first two records are very much like this, although, to be honest with you, as much of a fan of this band as I am, I have yet to hear their first two records. I got turned on to this band with this record called Palos Santo, and it is a two-record set, 180 gram vinyl pressed at RTI. This was actually their debut on Matador Records, so pressed on RTI as many, if not all, Matador records are. Some inserts there. This, I don't get the impression that this was originally a double album. I think this was sort of reimagined and re-recorded for their Matador debut. And just a fabulous job on here. There is music on here that reminds me of Talk Talk, latter period Talk Talk. There's music on here that sometimes reminds me of Pink Floyd. There's music on here that occasionally reminds me of John Cale. And I'm trying to think of some other. It's kind of all over the place, but at the same time, it all works. It all fits together pretty well. And this is also the very first album where Jonathan Myberg was pretty much on his own, and Will Sheff was not contributing, certainly not contributing vocals. I don't know if there's any contribution in terms of the songwriting or not, but just a sort of a stellar album, just kind of stands on its own, kind of a unique thing. You don't hear too many albums like this. It's kind of vast and soaring. I don't want to use too many bird references because you'll start to pick up on the bird references here on your own as we go. Anyway, Palos Santo. For me, this was a fabulous introduction to the band. Got me hooked right away, and I've never looked back. I still love this record to this day. The next album of theirs, and the next album that I purchased, is Rook. That right there gives you a feel for the music of Shearwater. Anyway, I was so pleased with Rook because, you know, sometimes you fall in love with a band based on an album and their next album comes out and it's a big disappointment. But this was not. This took it to the next level. Rook. Very cool cover art there too. You will notice that there is a bird theme going on here. The leader of the band, Jonathan Myberg, has either a master's or a PhD in ornithology. I'm not sure what level of education he's had with that. So the sort of nature thing, and especially the bird thing, works its way into an awful lot of the songs and the artwork on the covers and that sort of thing. One of the bands that Shearwater makes me think of quite often is Talk Talk. Not necessarily the synth pop era of Talk Talk, but the latter period, the last couple albums, Spirit of Eden and Laughing Stock. But you could tell that the guys in Shearwater spent some time listening to some Talk Talk records. There's a similar kind of vibe in the sense that the songs are not necessarily verse, chorus, verse kind of thing. There's no repetition in that way. A friend of mine calls it meandering, but they do, in a sense, they kind of meander, and they don't. it's not they don't write succinct pop songs or anything like that. They're more interested in telling stories and leaving you with a particular vibe, which they do very, very well. So in that sense, they've sort of picked up the baton from Talk Talk and carried that on quite well and done their own thing with it, for sure. But even though I had always had the sense that the folks in Shearwater had been at least fans of latter period Talk Talk, that was cemented when I bought the single, the 7-inch single, for the song Rooks from the album Rook. Because the A-side is the song Rooks, and then the B-side is a live version of The Rainbow, which is a song that Talk Talk did on Spirit of Eden. So definitely really cool to have this, because that little rarity that's on the B-side there is sort of cemented my little connection there that I was making in my head. The next Shearwater album that came out was the Golden Archipelago. And again, you definitely get the feel for what Shearwater's music is like by looking at covers like this. The covers are definitely indicative of the kind of music that's on the inside. I honestly can't say enough about this band. They're atmospheric. Sometimes their music just soars. Sometimes it's an exercise in the use of quiet space. There's so many bands that do this sort of thing that I really love. Latter period Talk Talk and David Sylvian being the two that come to mind most immediately. But Shearwater has taken a place among those artists as far as I'm concerned. And so this is the Golden Archipelago, and just a fabulous record. It's a single record, but gatefold, just like Rook's was. Again on Matador, 180 gram vinyl, RTI pressing. So Shearwater's latest record, and the record that I have shown a couple times already, is called Animal Joy. And just like some of the other records, the artwork is also indicative of the music on this one. If this one seems like it would be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more not quite as quiet as the previous couple records, although those were not snoozers by any means. But Animal Life, their latest record, and this is what they have referred to as the loser edition. So it's on blood red vinyl. And it is not a gatefold, as the previous two albums were, but it does come not only with really cool cover art on the outside, but a nice heavy-duty inner sleeve with some cool artwork there, a lyric sheet, and even a Sub Pop sticker, because this is them moving from Matador over to Sub Pop. All of these albums came with a digital download card. What else is in here? Other goodies. Other goodies. Download card. Shearwater stickers. Forgot about those. But this album rocks a little bit more immediate, a little bit more vibrant. That's a bad word, because the other ones are really vibrant. But it just rocks a little bit more. It's a little bit heavier. And I will put a link below to a video that I did when this thing arrived, and I was all excited about it, and I sample some music on there and everything. So anyway, that's the latest Shearwater record, and they just keep getting better as far as I'm concerned. But they just keep making music that's more and more interesting and more intricate, and I just become a bigger fan with every album that they release. I caught them live for the first time. They were touring for Animal Joy, and a lot of this tour they were opening for St. Vincent, but on this particular venue they were playing a gig in Madison, Wisconsin, with a couple other bands opening for them. So it was pretty nice to see. I had a really good place to sit, really clear view, and just really enjoyed the show. So Anyway, that's just a little bit about Shearwater. There's a lot more to discover. I strongly encourage you, if you're into music with detail, if you're into music that where there's a lot more going on, and maybe you have to listen to it several times before you can pick up everything that's going on, strongly encourage you to check out Shearwater. Like I said, they are probably one of my top 5 favorite bands of the past 10 years or so. So anyway, that's about it. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too long about this. Hopefully you're still with me. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later.